All right, so for today's practice, we're going to run both the long gun and pistol. We're going to run two different ammunition natures. One is through Simunition FX marking cartridges, and the other one is AREX defense. So both are very, very similar from just reading the stats on both. Both are similar in terms of weight and the projectile the velocity and the speed. So we'll see which gun responds with which ammunition better. But essentially two different companies making very similar products. We'll test them both out and then we'll give you some feedback. So we have the AREX defense and Simunition FX marking cartridges. So both non-lethal marking cartridges, great for scenario-based realistic training. A consideration to think about, which based on my experience happens a fair bit, is when we utilize non-lethal marking cartridges, Simunition, in a gun that has been proven to be a platform that's reliable with live ammunition, sometimes there are stoppages and it can cause some frustration. It can also cause a lack of confidence in the product. So, you know, I wish I had a golden ball or some sort of pixie dust to, you know, to say, yeah, use this and it's going to work as well as live rounds and live ammunition. The reality is, from my experience, there are certain things you can do with the bolt and with the slide in terms of giving yourself a higher probable chance of success. I.e., for an example, you know, put a little bit of lube on the bolt and on the slide mechanism. It does help. I wouldn't soak it down, but a little bit of light oil on the inside of the barrel has proven to help out a little bit. The reality is it's not uncommon to have stoppages. So with that being said, hopefully that's not a deterrent not to want to use non-lethal marking cartridges. At the same time, just knowing or managing those expectations until the product really becomes solidified, there's going to be issues from time to time. The other thing I would think about too is, in the past, you know, a platform like this, for example. So if this was the user's primary gun, say for example, you know, they're using a Glock 17 Gen 5, but on their slide they have a red dot set up, or, you know, some sort of variation that is different than what the Simunition offers. What I would recommend to these companies, and I know they're out there, I know they exist because I've used them in the past, is enable the user to use their platform as operationally ready as it would be with minimum modifications to the gun. So for an example, if the user was able to simply drop in the barrel, which enables use with the non-lethal marking cartridges while maintaining the red dot or whatever system that they have up and running, that would be optimal. Providing training for some law enforcement folks in the past, it's not uncommon where they literally have a Simunition blue gun, which is very different than their operational gun. So from my perspective, with the long gun, for example, you notice the only thing that's modified is the bolt. Therefore, the user can utilize whatever platform they're using as it's set up for their day-to-day job. This would be more optimal, in my opinion. So, although stoppages do happen from time to time, hopefully that's not a deterrent for you to use this with your service or with your team. All right, so the Simunition cartridge is not loud, but it's still highly recommended. Well, mandatory eye protection for sure. Highly recommended hearing protection. Although it's not loud, you may as well just err on the side of caution, but definitely as a minimum, we want eye protection on. So we have a couple steel plates set up at about 20 meters, maybe a little shy of 20 meters. And what we'll do is we'll get the shooter here to fire a few rounds between the two targets with AREX defense ammunition first. We'll go up, have a look at the effects on the steel plate, and then we'll load up the Simunition FX ammunition, and we'll just get a feel. Both feedback from the shooter's perspective, but also we'll get to see what effect on the steel target it had. All right. You're gonna fire 2 or 3 rounds on the left plate, 2 or 3 rounds on the right plate, just to get a feel for the gun, the ammunition. No rush, take your time. We want good hits on the steel plate. All right, whenever you're ready. Good, go ahead and safe the gun. So we're not seeing at this distance, we don't see a lot of effect on the plate, but we have the audio feedback, all right? So we can tell that he's hitting the plate, we're aware that he's hitting the plate, but we'll go up and have a look in a second. All right, same thing, 3 on the left side, 3 on the right side when you're ready. Now while the long gun is hanging, just let it hang, you're gonna transition to your pistol. Same thing, unholster, get a good grip on the gun with 2 hands, take your time, 3 rounds to the left plate, 3 rounds to the right plate, on your time, no rush. Relax your shoulders, extend your arms, lock your wrist, straight back trigger pull, tap rack. So we've incurred our first stoppage. Just over top. Tap rack. Second stoppage. Just over top. Tap rack. Tap rack. Good. Slide lock to the rear. Double feed. Or failure to eject. And load it up again. Good. Holster up. All right, so a few rounds there. Already we've encouraged a couple of stoppages with the ARX ammunition. Now, is it an ammunition issue or is it that particular slide and Simunition barrel issue? I believe it's the slide and barrel issue. I believe it doesn't sit as well as it should. The tolerances are not as tight as they should be. And in fact, I can see the slide is not in full battery. So even though Taryn, our shooter here, was able to shoot one round, I can see that the slide is not going into full battery. So to me, that's not necessarily an ammunition issue. And the reason I say that so confidently is because we've had that issue in the past with these particular kits. But that's why we're doing what we're doing. All right, go ahead, unholster the pistol again. Same thing, Taryn, when you're ready. 3 rounds to the left plate, 3 rounds to the right plate. There you go. Fire another round. And then hold there for a sec. Extend the gun. Yeah, I can see, so if you just relax for a sec. So see how it's not in full battery here? So the slide is not in full battery right now. It should be fully seated, right? And it's not. And it's also putting pressure onto the recoil spring assembly where it's protruded out a little bit. So let's fire one more round and then I'll take it apart. We'll reset it up again and we'll try the different ammo as well and see if there's a difference. So, and again, failure to eject. So I could see it. So the paint pellet exited the barrel, but it didn't fully eject that spent casing. All right, no problem. So allow the slide go forward, holster up. And then with the carbine, same thing, we'll go back 3 and 3 with the carbine. Good stuff, all out. All right, so clearly no issues with the long gun. The Simunition bolt in the long gun working really well with this particular ammunition. However, there is an issue with the slide and barrel of the pistol. So we'll have a look at it, pull it apart, and we'll try it again. All right, so take 2, still with the ARX Defense ammunition. Shooter Taryn here is going to load and ready both the long gun and the pistol. He's gonna rifle through the rifle ammunition. We'll see the effects on the paper, and then he'll transition to pistol and do the same thing with the ARX Defense ammunition and the Simunition kits that we have installed on the long gun and the pistol. All right, Taryn, when you're ready, load, ready, press check both firearms. All right, so when you're ready, Taryn, whatever ammunition is in that magazine, just run the gun dry onto the cardboard target straight to your front. All right, whenever you're ready. Time's on. So allow the long gun to hang and then transition to pistol. And same thing, endeavor to get all rounds in that magazine, and endeavor to get them onto the cardboard target to your front. Okay. Yeah, toss it out. Oh, consistently. So consistently able to get one round out of the gun and then it's not cycling properly. So failure to eject, I can see that the spent casing is hung up. So failure to eject rather is the issue here with this slide setup. So one round, stoppage. That's it?
Yep.
All right, so allow the slide to go forward. Release the trigger springs, holster up. All right, stow your stuff. And then what we'll do is we're gonna go switch the ammo and then just kind of have a look to see if there's any difference between the two. I believe there's not. I believe the issue is not the ammo, but. All right, let's have a look at the targetry. All right, so you see carbine placement here. There's a couple of pistol rounds that were obviously effective. But just to think about when you're utilizing role players, like this is the paint pellet that's being, the projectile that's flying through the air. So, you know, exposed skin with role players, not optimal. That will potentially break skin depending on the distance. And, you know, a little bit of safety in terms of using the long gun versus the pistol. Whatever kit and equipment role players are going to use, it needs to be, you know, compliant to the safety precautions that are basically consequential to whatever you're using for ammunition. So now what we're going to do is we'll switch to the Simunition FX ammo and then we'll try it again. All right, so for the Simunition kit on the pistol, the slide, we took it apart, put it back together. The long gun bolt is still the same. Everything is in place. Everything's working good. The only difference now is we switch ammunition from Eric's Defense into the Simunition FX ammunition. So we'll do the exact same application, a few rounds with the long gun, a few rounds with the pistol, and then we'll walk up and have a look at the effects on the paper. Carbine, aim for maybe the lower half of the paper for the carbine, and then we'll have a look at the upper half for the pistol. All right, so rip through that magazine, transition to pistol, and then we'll use the upper half. Okay. All right, whenever you're ready, take your time. Bring it up a little bit. Bring your shot placement up a little bit. Transition to pistol, same thing, the upper half of that cardboard in front of you. Same thing, go through that mag. Yes, you most likely have some stoppages, but just go through it, tap rack and carry on. Okay.
Dead trigger.
I can see it, it's not going into full battery. Double feed, failure to eject. Same thing. Right, so lock the slide to the rear, take the mag off, have a look at it, shake it out, reload, ready, and carry on. Lock the slide to the rear, take the mag off, have a look, good, reload, reset. Yeah, so it's, I'm convinced it's not the ammo is the issue, it's the slide and barrel setup. The positive is you're going to be dynamite at these drills.
Yeah.
Lock it, rip it, inspect it, reload it. Lock it, rip it, inspect it, reload it. All out.
Yep.
And so interesting, eh? So that time, last round fire, and it didn't lock to the rear. Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right, man, go ahead, allow the slide to move forward. Release the trigger springs, holster up. Awesome. All right, let's have a look. The accuracy is not the issue. Like, you know, we asked the lower portion, and you heard me say try to bring it up a little bit just for the viewers to see where it's actually hitting. But everything with the carbine, no issues, no stoppages, and you're effective. And then, you know, arguably, yes, you're effective with the pistol as well in terms of shot placement. However, a lot of stoppages. So it doesn't give me as the user a lot of confidence in that particular setup. However, you know, I'll get a gun plumber and armorer to help me out. We'll strip it down, have a look at it, and see if there's something that's mechanically fixable. Hopefully there is, because they're expensive. And, you know, Yes, to train as you know, realistically as you possibly can. There's an investment in it. There's investment in time and training, but there's also investment in kit and equipment to do it properly. So when you invest that kind of money as a user, you're hoping for, you know, a higher probable chance that you're going to have some higher success. Cool? Questions? All right, man. Let's wrap it up.
Cool.
So now what we can do